The name of this lesson is How to Ask Intelligent Questions During Your Interview. Have you ever had to drive somewhere with a friend or spouse who didn't look at the map ahead of time and refused to ask directions? They figured they would just know the way or maybe see a landmark they remembered, but instead you ended up lost, driving in circles, and maybe even arriving late for that appointment. Asking intelligent questions is similar because it takes thought and planning. Near the end of almost every interview, you will be asked, "Do you have any questions?" If you're not prepared, you will waste this opportunity by asking a stupid question or saying, "No, I'm fine," which is a death sentence. Intelligent questions get you the information you need about the company while also communicating to the interviewer you want the job. In this lesson, we cover the do's and don'ts of asking questions, including these 3 areas. 1. Knowing what kind of questions you should ask. 2. Understanding what topics you should not discuss. And 3. How to ask questions that get you good answers. Point 1 is knowing what kind of questions you should ask. Have you ever been introduced to someone at a party and within 2 minutes they were asking you what you do for a living, how long you'd been doing it, and what the name of the company was? They might have been truly interested in getting to know you, but were asking you the wrong questions. Not only were they discovering nothing about you, but they were probably annoying you as well. Here's how to avoid that in an interview. Your questions should pertain to the actual job you are applying for and the company's future plans. They should get you additional information that was not available from just the job description or the company website. Prior to the interview, you should pore over the job description and company website and write down at least 20 questions you can ask. Your job is to fully understand the position, the responsibilities, expectations, ingredients for success, etc., so that you can make an informed decision. Ask yourself, what do I need to know in order to make an informed decision about whether or not this is the right position for me at this time in my career? For example, you could ask, what are the 3 most important skills you are looking for in a successful hire? Or what would you want me to accomplish in this position, year 1, year 2, long term? Or what has been missing in people who have not been successful in this role? In these examples, we asked the interviewer to give information that was not publicly available and asked them questions on which they could elaborate. If you ask questions like this, you will be engaging the interviewer in a dialogue, as well as communicating that you are motivated to do the job. Point number 2 is understanding what topics you should not discuss. Have you ever walked into a store and before you even had a chance to examine the merchandise, the salesperson was breathing down your neck trying to get you to buy something? It probably felt like the salesperson was more interested in getting a sale than finding out what you wanted or needed. In an interview, if you bring up topics that are only beneficial to you, it could feel inappropriate to the interviewer and blow your chances to get a job. As curious as you may be, don't ask about benefits like, does the company have casual Fridays? Do they have a decent cafeteria? Can I take extra time off beyond my holiday? What will be my compensation? Also, don't ask questions that begin with the word why. Why did the company decide not to produce tablets? Why is the company expanding in Asia? The word why immediately puts the interviewer on the defense. It gives them the task of having to explain and justify to you instead of opening up a dialogue, which is your goal. And don't ask anything too personal to the interviewer. They might seem warm and friendly with you, but their main goal is to evaluate whether you have the skills and motivation to do the job. Point 3 is how to ask questions that get you good answers. Have you ever talked to a psychologist and found yourself responding to questions they asked with lots of information? That's because they asked you open-ended questions that required you to volunteer information and shed light on why you were in their office. In an interview, you should do the same thing. If you don't ask open-ended questions, you will get short yes or no answers, not good answers that give you better insight into the company. An open-ended question requires the interviewer to elaborate, and that's when you get good answers. An open question engages the interviewer and creates a dialogue. Simply changing just a few words can do the trick. For example, instead of asking, will I be working at the client site, you could ask, where will I be working with clients? The first question can be answered with a yes or no. The second question can't. If you combine open-ended questions with good subjects, you will get the best answers. Here are some examples of good questions you could ask. What are the biggest outcomes you expect from this job? What could be some challenges I might encounter in this position? How do you measure people's performance? If you ask smart, open-ended questions, the interviewer will feel you are motivated to do the job and will be a productive member of the company. Remember, write down your questions and take them to the interview. It's okay to have them in front of you and to refer to them if need be. So to recap, the 3 keys to asking intelligent questions are: first, knowing what kind of questions you should ask; second, understanding what topics you should not discuss; and third, how to ask questions that get you good answers. If you keep these in mind, you will ask intelligent questions during your interview and increase your chances of getting offered the job.